Are those sets all taken to failure?
Depends a lot on what I'm doing. So there's certain things that I may take to failure and other things that don't. So let's take, for instance, big movements. And this is something that has changed for me over the years. So I would say back 10 years ago more, I would often like aim for an all-out set. Like let's say when I was squatting and probably, around my prime, my goal would be do a bunch of warm-ups and then put like 4 or 5 in the bar and get as many reps as I can. And when I go to do that set, I'm like, this is my set. I'm going to just destroy it. So like at one point, I remember a while back, this was like 2009 prep, and I weighed about 208 and I squatted 405 for 14 reps. And it was just an all out set. I'm like, I'm going to get as many as I can. And I used to do this stuff like that a lot. The issue is that your next set, like let's say I was going to try to do several sets with 405, the next set becomes like 8. And then the set after that is like 5. So it's like the decline was rapid. So my approach over time that I feel like is more sustainable and actually arguably more beneficial is to have a goal of total volume. So it's like, let's say you take the same amount of weight and maybe you can get 14, 15 reps. Well, I'm going to do a perfect set of 10. Then I'm going to do another perfect set of 10. And then I'm going to, and if you look at what you're achieving over the course of that entire workout, you're actually doing more total volume because you're not destroying yourself on one set. And so I've gotten results from both. I mean, I can't say that I didn't get results from doing failure sets because I did it a lot early on in my career. But, when you start having any type of issues, I mean, first of all, if you take a set to failure, you're going to have a form breakdown, okay, at some point. You're not doing that last rep with perfect form. And what that means is that could be putting bad stress as opposed to good stress in certain areas of your body. If you're getting out of position, if you're going to failure, your form's breaking down. So I think to live another day, you're actually better off getting as many perfect reps as possible, taking the amount of rest you need and then doing another set. And that second set's going to be more than what you would have done if you went to failure in the first. And then the third and fourth, again, if you went to failure, by that point, you're getting almost nothing in the third and fourth set. Whereas like if you are looking at the cumulative amount that you can do over a course of 5 and 6 and 7 sets, then you're doing a lot more total work and you're actually probably getting a more of a hypertrophic response. I'll do up to 8 and 10 sets on stuff. And especially if I get in a groove where something feels good, get as many perfect reps as I can, and then take the amount of rest I need until I can do another set of perfect reps.
That's great points, and interesting also because you've like you said, you've tried both approaches with going all out sets. And do you think that maybe in your younger days you could withstand the stress of going all out versus now, of course, with your history, that maybe is not as appropriate anymore, and also, like you said, arguably not as productive either, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're spot on with both. I mean, number one, when younger and it didn't have any type of pathology with any areas of my body where it was just kind of like I'm just going to hammer and nothing really hurts, it feels fine and it works. And now it's like if I tried to do certain things in the same way, it would feel terrible. So yeah, I wouldn't get the benefit. I mean, and so like for instance, like I can still do heavy squats, but my difference is that I do very slow, controlled, and usually some type of pause with or without a box. I don't try to hammer like really fast reps with heavy weight on squats because it just, with certain issues, it doesn't feel as great. So there's a lot more focus on the eccentric, and it's again the focus on doing quite a bunch of sets. And usually I don't even lock into doing a number of sets. Like my rule, and this is a little weird, people are like, how many sets are you gonna do until I'm satisfied? I know when my last set is, because I didn't have any more to give. So let's say I'm working up and I'm like, I do a set and it feels good, add 30 more pounds, do another set, feels good, keep doing that, and I'll get to a point where like that was about as heavy as I can go, and then I might try to do one more at lighter weight. And usually whenever I get to that last set, sometimes it's at set 6, sometimes it's at set 10, I know that I didn't have any more to give. I'm like, all right, it's time to move on to the next exercise. And I think this is where a lot of people sell themselves short because they lock into, my program says do 4 sets. Well, if on set 4, I still feel great and I'm benefiting from it and everything is like I'm in a groove, don't get off the track. Stay on there. Stay in there. And if you feel like that set's beneficial, why not do more? Why change to a whole nother exercise and have to warm up again and acclimate your body to another movement? I would rather sit there and do 12 sets of something than keep switching exercises every 3 to 4 sets, because then you're almost starting over again every time you do that.
interesting in a sense that basically, okay, take your all out set for a second. You're staying what, maybe 4 or 5 reps shy of that on every set for the most part?
I would say it's a lot closer. It's probably more like taking the warm-up sets out of it, probably more like 2 to 3, and sometimes coming in with 1. It depends a lot on the rep range that I'm working with. As the higher up I go in each set, the closer you're getting to your max. But I'm not getting to where like I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, complete this rep. The other thing I should define, there's a difference between can I get another rep versus can I get another good rep? And that's the difference. So I'm pushing right to the point where I can't get another good rep. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could get another rep, but I'm not interested in hurting something.
The frequency in terms of body parts, did you prefer training everything on the most part 2 times per week? Have you found better results doing that?
2 times per week, I find to be optimal. More than that gets tricky with recovery. Less than that, I consider to be inadequate. And, I think there's certain smaller stuff, in my opinion, on the bigger body parts, like, the